La maudite Devil Show.
I have seen the dark shadows moving in the woods, and I have no doubt that whatever I have resurrected through this book is sure to come calling for me.
David, you look absolutely terrific, honestly. You've got like glue on.
This is where the worst begins. This is where we must stop. For beyond is the work of madness. The nightmare of insane murder and lingering death.
Get inside and lock your doors. Close your windows.
Someone is watching you. Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death.
This is Albert from the Tuesday Show. You're listening to the goddamn Dave Hill Show, now on a flipping Monday.
No, wait. No, you're an angel witch. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to the Dave Hill Goodtime Hour. Now, and it's, I don't know how many months it's been, honestly.
under this official name or?
I don't even know what I mean. I'm all flustered. Anyway, what could that be in the background? Could that be the soundtrack to a little movie called Disco Dancer?
Oh yeah.
Well, you see, I'm gonna watch that movie tonight after this show because I've kind of hit like a I don't know if you guys do this during, but first of all, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us, everybody, out there in live stream land. Probably millions watching, I imagine, statistically. How are you doing, boy criminal Chris Gersbeck?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm on the upswing. I really went on the downswing pretty heavily, as I do pretty much from minute to minute during the pandemic. All it takes is like one little thing to set me off.
Yeah.
In a good direction or a bad direction. And how are you doing, New Jersey Chicken Rancher Des, with mood lighting? Now new and improved mood lighting.
I switched things up here a little bit, rotated 1/4 turn, and given this a try.
I'm wild for it. Can you turn music's a little loud and Des is a little quiet?
Yeah, Des, you're a little quiet.
How's that better?
We need some more Des heat.
Hello?
Yeah,
Or
that's
something.
better.
That's so
Better now?
much better. So much better.
Look at the new layout.
I apologize. I joined the show roughly 10 seconds before it started. I was all headed upstairs, and then right before I was headed up the stairs, my sweet dog Lucy, my sweet hellhound Lucy, let me know that she needed to take a dump in her own dog-like way, and I let her out, and she went out. I'm going to give you the real-time play-by-play. She peed, and then she did like a dog, like, I don't even know if she's like a breed that would do this, but she held her foot up like a pointer or something. And then we were like, well, she's seen a bobcat or a snow leopard or something, right? She's going to go after it. And then she ran, and then I thought, this is it. And then I think she just wanted to take a dump on the neighbor's lawn. She did that. And then she came back in, but it took long enough to have me up here about 2 seconds before the show started.
Is it a neighbor you like, or is it, you can?
I do like this neighbor. I don't know him well at all. All I know is that I'm in as you know, I'm in a tiny little Finnish fishing village. But during the pre-election times, this guy had a Biden sign out. So I was like, all right, he's cool with me.
It's a good feeling.
There's plenty that had Trump
out there.
out.
Yeah. Where is that Jim Jordan guy? I know he's an Ohio senator, but like, is he like popular where you are, or?
I think he's quite popular. I mean, I don't know how that guy does anything beyond run a sporting goods store.
Right.
Like that's what he should be doing, right? He should just be like
either that or like a cheap wedding banquet hall or something.
Just
treats his entire staff like crap.
He does.
Oh no, I'm just saying he looks like the kind of guy who would just treat his entire staff like crap.
It's just he's awful. Like all these guys, Ted Cruz.
Oh yeah.
Ted Cruz looks like before he grew the beard, and I'm not a fan of the beard, but before he grew it, he looked like the maitre d' at like a piano bar, if there's such a thing as a maitre d' at a piano bar.
Yeah,
he isn't the manager of a piano bar. That's what he looked like to me. And now he has like his Merkin beard, whatever that is. That it's like I'm a guy. It's so pathetic, sad. No, anyway, that's not what I wanted to say. I'm freaking out because I'm going back to New York City tomorrow. That's the hot news.
That's the hot goss.
Breaking news. I know everyone all over the world has been speculating when
to get a haircut.
Is this a permanent jump?
No, it's not. I can't hear you, Des.
We
can't hear you today. No. Turn up as loud as you can.
How's that?
That's better. Oh, it's way better.
I've never been this loud before. All right. Sorry.
No, I'm gonna come back. I'm just gonna go for. I'm shooting a television program. I'll just. I can't say. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what TV program I'm shooting, so I won't.
Usually not.
Jeopardy.
It's Jeopardy. I'm hosting Jeopardy.
That's fantastic.
That'd be pretty cool if I were, but I'm not.
Can you? Yeah. Make it happen.
I saw Ken Jennings hosting the other night, and I thought he was good. They should just let him do it.
It's kind of a natural, right?
What were you gonna say?
I was all for LeVar Burton. I don't know if there's been any movement on that.
LeVar Burton's a great choice. Did he already host it?
I don't know. I think everyone was just like, yeah, that seems like it makes sense for whatever reason.
How long are they doing a rotation? Just till they kind of find somebody, or do they have?
Yeah, I think they're rotating until they find the right person.
I think I heard Aaron Rodgers is hosting it after the football season's over. So
who is Aaron Rodgers?
He's a future Hall of Fame football player, Dave.
Oh, he must be good.
Yeah.
Who does he play for?
He's on the Packers.
Oh, the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
You would be hard pressed to find a straight white male with a worse working knowledge of professional football than I have.
No, I think I got you beat.
You didn't catch the vibe on the street this week with the Browns in the playoffs for the first time in like 20 years.
I could feel the excitement, but
I saw some tweets where some people were like, in all caps, "What is happening?" Yeah. And I was like, "Are they attacking the Capitol again?" And then I realized it was a football game.
Browns had a shot. Everybody's losing their mind.
Oh wait, so they were like, what? They were happy that the Browns are out now, though. They lost in football.
They lost, but there was a minute in the game yesterday where they might have had a shot. Excuse me. I thought they,
but I did see some of the game yesterday, not really by choice, but I did. And in my expert opinion, I was like, oh, it seems like they have a shot. But yeah. I find football really depressing. And I went and took a nap, like probably at the peak of the game. I was like, I'm going to go take a nap. Because literally the sound of a football game is so depressing to me.
Something about the ads and the...
I just hate it. I love hockey. I can't shut up about it. I'm not against it. If someone loves football, that's great. I'm actually kind of jealous because I feel like it would be nice social currency to be interested in football.
Yeah.
I think it would probably, people would be like, hey, in non-plague times, people would be like, hey, Dave, you going to come over for the game?
It's great fun.
I'm making guac. Plus, people who say guac, I struggle with as well.
That's true.
So, I made fresh guac. I just want to say guac until every person viewing now just drops off entirely.
Do they have guac at the dip destination?
Oh, you can rest assured, friend. That's the hardest part about this. I'm not going to be able to go to dip destination for quite a while. A few weeks, I think.
So not to get ahead, but next week's show you'll be doing from your apartment?
NYC, yeah.
Whoa.
I'll be in my apartment.
You know how which wall you're gonna shoot against?
I haven't thought that far yet.
Oh, important questions, Dave.
These are important. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to beat this wall.
You got to bring Danzig with you, though.
I have a lot of good stuff in my place.
Sure. What if you go home and there's like a couple squatting in your apartment?
That's been a going concern, but I know there isn't because I've had my landlord has popped in many times, and some friends have popped in to make sure things are copacetic. No, I'm concerned. I've been concerned about things like gross things happening.
It's like it's like a fantasy of mine. It's like I come home and there's people living in my home. Like I've been gone for a year and I come back. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
That's a fantasy?
I don't know why. It's just
a fantasy. And they're like, hey,
where's the payoff?
You want an intercourse? Is that the fantasy part where they're like,
no, it's
get
just
over
like,
here. Let's more like a nightmare. You mean, perhaps?
Let's pork.
Maybe they make the sandwiches when you walk in the door. That wouldn't be the worst.
Oh, it's like, like in movies where like someone comes home and there's people living in their house and they're always like, what the hell? And then they run out. I don't know. It's just like a very comical type of scenario that I one day hope to experience.
Your cat's here.
I'm willing to do that. Once the plague is over, I'll happily break into your home. I had a nightmare last. If you guys had the nightmares where like you're out in public and all of a sudden you don't have a mask on and people are just like rubbing up on you. I had that nightmare last night.
I've had a couple like that. It's real.
Yeah, it's weird how society as a whole starts to get the same nightmares based on, the global nightmare.
This is a thing.
I'm freaked out like when I'm on the set of One Life to Live next week. Oh shoot. When I'm on the show that I'm shooting, I'm worried that I'll have like a panic attack when they're like, "Okay, Dave, take your mask off and start acting like the wind."
You have to do all kinds of screening beforehand and
like
yourself a little bit. Protocols in place that you have to follow.
I do, yeah, because I've been out here in this tiny Finnish fishing village in Ohio. I have to quarantine and test and do a lot of stuff, and be there for a good chunk of time before, like over a week beforehand.
And then I've heard like on sets you have to keep your mask on until like right before you're going to shoot your scene.
Yeah.
So it's like there's people standing on the side whose jobs is just to like put your mask back on.
Oh, I'm all for it. I mean, and the thing is, all of my scenes are sex scenes. They're full tongue sex scenes too. So this is very.
Why even bother with the mask then?
Well, on Days of Our Lives. Oh shoot! Oh, keep doing it. I'm actually shooting both those shows.
Crossover near the bridge.
That would be great if that happened. Like while I'm in town, they're like, "Hey, my agent's like, hey, Dave, while you're in town, can't you
just do that? I mean, I feel like didn't James Franco get on a soap opera? And he was
just by asking?
He did it for college credit.
Yeah. It was like an acting thing, like an acting course he was taking or something.
I would like to. I mean, I certainly would. I don't know who I would play, delivery guy or something. The guy that I'm playing, what's not giving anything. He's described as somewhat douchey.
Okay.
Not giving anything away. My character on One Life to Live. Which one is Susan Lucci on? Or is it Suzanne Lucci? I should know.
I think that was Days of Our Lives.
No, that was
All My Children, right?
Oh, yeah,
All My Children, yeah.
I was thinking Another World.
Eric Mahoney. I would love to be on that show too. I mean, if I can secret all of these things, and I realize probably at least one of the shows I mentioned maybe is over with, but I would happily be on any of those.
Did you ever watch that soap opera, Passions?
No, I was a Days of Our Lives guy. Passions was a little hack job.
I didn't
like witchcraft and stuff in that.
Yeah, it had like a supernatural element to it.
Yeah,
and it was a daily soap opera.
It was like a daytime soap opera. Yeah,
NBC, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I remember soap operas like when I was a little kid. Every day there was uniform agreement between me and my siblings what we would watch, and then one day, when my oldest sister got to be like in 6th grade, I think, I came home and she's like, "We're watching General Hospital," and I was like, "Well, no, we're not. It's after school. We watch cartoons and fun stuff." She's like, "No, we're watching General Hospital." And we watched General Hospital. They did anyway. General Hospital every day for the next 7 years until she went away to college. And it was all over.
She the oldest?
She was the oldest. And like I was just like, I have no say in this matter any longer. So We have a great guest tonight. I'm very excited. He's a fellow Ohioan, Eric Mahoney. He's a director of many great documentaries. Brainiac, Transmissions After Zero, which I actually have in the futuristic DVD format right here. Wow. But you can watch it if you haven't seen it yet. It's great. It's on Tubi, which no one brings up Tubi like I bring up Tubi, because Tubi is like has all stuff that I like to watch on it.
Yeah, Tubi's pretty good.
There's 2 ZZ Top concerts, just as one example. I'm pretty sure there's 2.
The Brainiac documentary is on Prime too. If you have Prime, you can just watch it.
Oh yeah, it is. That's one thing I'm really excited. I'll probably watch that again, and then I'm just gonna watch nonstop movies when I'm in New York quarantining.
That's the way to go.
Nonstop.
Yeah, so you can't do anything while you're here, right?
I have no interest in doing anything, because what am I going to do? But I don't know do they like track you with, I'm supposed to quarantine the entire time, basically.
Because you're going to be interacting with other people who have to interact with you, so.
Yeah, so, and then when I come back, I have to quarantine again, but I'm going to try to get tested right away. And so I don't have to be alone for like 2 weeks when I get back.
Can Chris come by and like yell up from the sidewalk? Are you on the front face of your street, your building?
I think he could. I mean, imagine it would be copacetic for me to walk downstairs and wave at people, wave at Chris and whoever walks by my house.
Just schedule time to hang out with people on your stoop.
Are you leaving the neighborhood at all, Chris, or you stay pretty close bound?
I'm in Queens, and I've not left Queens. I went to Manhattan for the first time like a couple weeks ago.
How did you get there?
I took the subway.
Oh. Were you freaking out?
No, because I did it during the day. There was no one on it. It was completely.
Is no one ever on the train anymore?
It was like a Thursday at 1:00. It was completely empty.
Well, what did you do?
Well, so I had a eye doctor's appointment, and so I had in my neighborhood, and I had to like kill time. And there's nothing you can do to kill time anymore. Like it was like snowing out that day too. I think it was like really ugly out. So I'm like, my wife works in Manhattan. I'm just gonna take the subway into Manhattan, surprise her, say hi, and then get right back on the train and come back to Queens.
Oh, that's nice. I like how you keep your marriage exciting.
Yeah.
Got it.
But I used to like go to a movie, or I'd go have lunch, or I'd go work in a coffee shop or something. Like you can't do anything anymore.
I know. When will we? I probably won't. We probably can't sit in coffee shops till like another year.
Yeah.
Just sitting in a coffee shop talking about ideas.
The year's a good bet.
By the time, you can just fully just be kicking back, whipping, talking in a coffee shop.
As if nothing ever happened.
Exactly.
No shows until at least the fall, Fauci was saying. So I'm seeing bands announce summer tours.
They're delusional, I think. And they're delusional. They're not delusional. I think they're overly optimistic. I hate to say it.
I think comedy might come back before music because it's seated, but it's also like, who the hell knows?
I don't know. Our guest should be momentarily. By the way, if anyone wants to call in, 347-474-0260. That's 347-474-0260. I'm not sure if we're going to do the zooming in thing tonight because we've been having problems with Zoom bombers, which is kind of a fun problem.
Yeah, we kind of dodged the bullet last week. We didn't.
I don't even know if it's a problem. But and another thing, by keeping Angel Witch in the program, basically people in North Korea, Syria, and 2 other vacation destinations cannot watch the show on YouTube in the archive. In the, after live.
Does North Korea even, they don't even have internet, do they?
That's a good question, because why would they ban it if
well, it's like they have internet, but like they can't access anything, I think.
Oh, they can just like go to the AOL homepage or something?
Yeah, like they can only search for things and it only pulls up complete lies and fabrications.
Like, that'd be kind of cool. Pictures of Kim Jong.
Yeah. Like you'll search like world's sexiest man and it'll come up
Kim Jong-un. Well, that's hardly propaganda from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, I've fallen into wormholes of just reading about North Korea and all the weird shit that goes on there. It's fascinating.
Dan Wally says only higher ups have internet.
Yeah.
How many higher ups could there be? And I bet, yeah. You know, Kim Jong Un has sweet internet. Oh, here comes Lucy. Lucy, how are you doing, sweet girl?
She's getting regular at that.
She's hi, sweet girl.
I got Jimmy on the phone.
Oh, nice.
Oh, bring it on, sister.
Jimmy, you there?
Hey, Des. How are you, man?
Good, Jimmy. Everybody's here. You're
Cool.
on the show.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Jimmy. I think I speak for everyone, especially the people of North Korea, when I say your call last week was stellar.
All-time great.
And the bar's
You're too
pretty
kind.
high.
Thank you guys for the high praise. It means a lot. Hey, Chris. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
All right. Hanging in.
You sound great. What's going on?
No, I had a day off today, which is cool.
I'll bite.
A paid
From what?
day off. This time last year was not paid. I was not yet made permanent in my title. Now I get
What is your title?
off.
What is your title, if I may ask?
Clerk 1, welfare.
So you go into an office?
Yeah.
You do? Oh, really? During all this?
Yeah, well, for 4 hours a day, and then they give us 3 days combat pay, 3 hours combat pay. 4 hours a day work, and then a lot of people working from home. I'm there all by my lonesome, but I can listen to stuff on YouTube, or like I stream some of the impeachment hearings, stuff that I normally would have to have buds for, because they let you wear buds and listen to stuff.
Oh, I thought you meant you needed like your pals around to watch the impeachment hearing.
Or weed.
They weren't around. No,
Yeah.
I mean, they would have been all on the same side, but they were at home doing work. Plus, they're higher grade title, so they do more computer work. They actually make a decision on claims. I'm just like paper pusher, literally. Paper pusher. Yeah. Well, and when I was practicing law, I would say I'm just pushing paper today, and that was like, a fair amount of paper. I mean, I'm pushing more paper, and I guess it's important to the people who are getting the benefits, which is very important. So I am a cog in a wheel, but I'm a cog in a kind of important wheel.
Mm-hmm. I feel good about it.
But being well, consequently, yesterday was my 21-month anniversary without a drop of alcohol. So,
congrats!
Congratulations.
I've gone to 2 separate jobs without being severely hungover or perhaps still drunk from the night before. But, you know,
don't make you a bad person.
For not even one solitary day, which is cool. You know, it's still hard to get up at 6. You know, I'm kind of a night owl, but I've been crashing very, very early the last 18 months anyway. We're talking like 5:30 at night.
Oh, wow. That's...
Yeah.
Even in the summer, like when it's still daylight? I mean, 5:30 falling asleep.
Yeah. No, I was doing it even in the summer.
You crash?
Because we're, you know, I mean, thankfully, there is no place to go for nightlife or anything for me because, and plus all the bars, even before COVID, almost all of my bars were either shut down or went out of business. You know, in the first ward. And I guess
wait, the bars that you would go to were shut down before COVID?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Why?
A lot of business issues, a lot of financial issues. One thing changed hands from the Irish American Association, which had been in existence since 1933, but they had financial problems with tax arrears, so it got taken over by a member who turned it into a pretty sharp bar
with
and
tapas?
Restaurant, Irish fare.
Oh.
And yeah, pretty nice place, but he lasted about 2 years, unfortunately, and he went out of business. So the Scots American Club is still open, and that's around the corner from my old house and just a few blocks south of my new apartment. But still, I don't have any. That must be at lower capacity, even though there's usually always people there.
What goes on at the Scots American Club?
Horseshoes, darts, drinking.
Good times in general. Do you have to be Scottish?
It's got a nice shuffleboard. Even though I'm not a shuffleboard guy, I can.
Hey, no one's saying you are.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I wouldn't take it the wrong way. Kind of a working class thing, working class bar thing.
I like shuffleboard.
And a pool table, and the occasional fisticuffs, which are nowhere near what the Irish American.
Like a Donnybrook?
And I'm Irish, so I'm talking against my branch of the Celtic tree. You know what I'm saying?
You know, Jimmy, I hate to interrupt you, but as anyone has ever heard,
no problem.
As anyone has ever heard you call into the show before is well aware, you have the voice of an angel, and it just forgive me for always thinking this, but I always think if Jimmy's on the line, it would be a shame, you know, not to ask you to sing at least just a few bars of something. Would you be willing to sing just a little bit of something?
Absolutely. Cool. And your upcoming guest, I did a little research. He has done a short documentary on Joan Baez.
Yes,
which I hope that he talks a little about. So I've thought about it a little, and I said, I got a song by Phil Oakes that was covered by her. One of
classic. I
think an instant classic, one of the most powerful folk songs.
Can't
with
be
a lot
debated.
of empathy behind it. So I'm gonna put the phone out a little.
Yeah, let it breathe if you can.
Okay. All right. Show me the alley. Show me the train. Show me the homeless man who sleeps out in the rain. And I'll show you.
Oh.
Wait, did we lose him? Oh, Jimmy. I'm so sorry. Jimmy, if you're out there, give us a call back. really sorry. I don't know what's going on with the tech here. We lost you. But gosh, that was.
Sorry, guys.
I was transported. Speaking of, I think our guest is in the waiting room, or we're about to get Zoom bombed. One of the two, because the name on the thing does not match the guest's name. But I think it must be him. Let's find out. It is. Oh. Hello, Eric Mahoney. Thank you for joining us.
Dave Hill. Gentlemen.
I'm sorry.
How are you?
Hi, Eric.
Hey, guys. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I gave you only... I didn't really finish your intro. We should do it now. Our guest is director of the great documentary Brainiac, Transmissions After Zero, which I have in the popular DVD format right here. North Dixie Drive, Madly, of course, the Joan Baez short, Jimmy Mansion, and he's the host of the excellent Kon-Tiki podcast, among other things.
Well, that's a deep dive you did into the catalog there, Dave. I appreciate it.
I'm North America's foremost Eric Mahoney aficionado. I believe.
It's nice to meet you, man. I have to say I continue to be a little astounded why our paths haven't crossed earlier. There seem to be like so many people in common, and the Ohio to New York transplant kind of situation, and I just don't know why you and I haven't met prior, but I'm glad that we are.
I know we are in this futuristic way, and then hopefully before too long we'll be able to be in the same room. And,
for sure.
You're a Dayton, Ohio native, is that correct? But you've also spent time in Columbus.
Yeah, I grew up in Dayton, and I lived in Columbus for 10 years before moving to Brooklyn. So yeah, I spent a nice chunk of time there. Went to college there, played in a bunch of bands there, hung out. Did you ever go to Little Brothers?
Oh,
it was the Stashes was the previous club.
Oh yes. I
used to work at Little Brothers, but spent a tremendous amount of time in Columbus, and still like that town. And and currently holed up in Dayton, Ohio right now.
Yes, beautiful this time of year.
It's lovely.
How far apart are you guys then? How far are you from Dayton, Dave?
By way the crow flies, I don't know. What is it, like 2.5 hours, 3 hours?
Yeah, that's right. Your Cleveland area?
Yeah, east of Cleveland by about I'm right near the Perry nuclear power plant, which is why I'm got a bit of a glow about me.
I was going to comment on your aura.
That is a lot of carbs and nuclear.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
we're a couple hours apart.
Yeah. So you came back, like me, you came back to Ohio during these plague times.
Back and forth. I won't bore you, but yeah, I mean, it's,
No, we have time for this show. If there was ever a show where you should feel free to give us a real-time
fantastic
breakdown of your
week
movements.
by week pandemic diary.
There is nothing off limits. You could, if you went grocery shopping, you could walk us through what you got. Everything is fair game.
Well, my family and I did come back to Columbus when things were getting what I would consider to be worrisome, in New York, when it was like sirens 24/7, and, we were hearing of people passing away, and we had a really close friend that was sick for like a month, and, everything was just kind of terrifying. So we did bounce for a little bit to kind of just get some space and just kind of decompress a little bit. Ohio all of a sudden felt really welcoming to us. And then we went back, and at this point, in October, we came back after spending the summer in our apartment in Brooklyn, and we're in Dayton now. At the crossroads of what to do with ourselves moving forward, whether or not we're going to go back to New York City, where we've been for a long time, or to perhaps, put down some roots where we grew up. So I am kind of floating in the breeze, as they say right now.
I like it. I think you should go back, if only so we can hang out in New York.
Agreed. I'd love to connect there. I'd love to connect there. And also it might be a situation where, we move back to the East Coast and might, go upstate a little bit. Something like that. I have 2 younger kids, so the urban New York City lifestyle is challenging a bit. With 2 kids, so I don't know. This pandemic has been a good place to kind of stop down and just kind of reassess what the hell I'm doing with myself.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I thought I did not like. I've been living in this town of 3,000 people since March. I am going back to New York tomorrow for a little bit.
Oh, cool.
But I've been in this town, and as most people will tell you, I pretty much rule this town.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I rule this town. I'm a figure of menace in the town.
Yeah.
And I rule this town. It can't be overstated. And the good thing about this town that I'm in is that even I've seen it in non-pandemic times, and I've seen it in pandemic times, and there's not a big difference.
Right.
Very minor difference
right.
in the amount of action. So it's kind of just feels pretty normal, with the exception of wearing masks to go inside places on rare occasions. The liquor store and
I'll tell you where I like is Yellow Springs. Have you spent time in Yellow Springs?
I have. I shot the hit movie Boy Band.
Oh yeah, of course. With Steven, another person we have in common. That's right.
Steven Levinson. Yes, of course.
That's right.
And the Levinson brothers. Yeah, I was in Yellow Springs for a few weeks, and also Dayton proper.
Of the 2,000 to 3,000 size, that's what made me think of it. I like that place. It's a beautiful little bubble here in a sea of some questionable political leanings.
Oh yeah, well, when we shot the hit movie Boy Band, I'm secreting it into hit status, even though it's been out for a little bit. But the more I say it,
the more it will be.
You say something enough, it starts to become true. So, but
does that mean that Trump actually won the election?
I think that's what he was trying to do, but no. Well, I think Boy Band has hit. I'm just saying, like it has what it takes to be a hit movie, but I feel like not enough people have seen it to have it be, a poster in Dez's bunker there.
It's just the last part. You just need the people.
Yeah. That's the only thing missing.
It's a very small piece.
Yeah, it's just a minor detail. But yeah, we were there. We shot that in, I guess it was, would it have been, I think it was 2016. Yeah, it was right before the election. And we would be driving around, and there would be people with like bed sheets with Trump painted on it, hanging on this. People were really like making their own signs. That was the level of enthusiasm.
Yeah. When we came back here this fall, it's weird, man. When when you grow up here, it's very familiar to come back, and it feels like home. And there's a lot of that sentiment, when I come back here and I kind of decompress and feel good. And then subsequently, though, coming back here this fall, I was stepping out of the bubble. It was shocking to me, the number of people that seem to champion Trump and not feel as though masks were required for any purpose whatsoever. It was like a double thing where it took me about a month to kind of just readjust. So I was like, wow, there's how many Trump signs do you see in New York City? Like 0.
Yeah, I would say there was this renegade down the street from me, a basement apartment.
Yeah.
about 2 blocks from me had a Trump sign in his window in the West Village, which just seems like he's asking for it.
Sure.
Like, and I was wondering why, because you would think, like, you're the basement apartment. You're just like, people could just take a leak down on your window, all sorts of things that I considered, but didn't do because I'm a real big fan of the high road. Not really.
I see stickers on like street poles and stuff in Forest Hills in Queens.
Trump stickers?
Yeah.
Is that real?
I think it's just someone's just trolling. I don't know.
Yeah, that strikes me as trolling.
I found stickers for like full on like white supremacist, a line of white supremacist clothing.
Okay.
I don't know if that was a joke, but they were all over the West Village.
Wow.
And I was walking the dog and I tore them down. I did my duty. Tore them down. But you're right though. It is a weird thing. Like, do you find as a Ohio son, I find I get really angry and even get to the point of shit talking my home state because I love it so much. I get more, it's easy to just be like, oh, New Jersey, people out there, whatever. No offense, Des.
Whatever.
But, but like, I just kind of be like, yeah, there's some people in New Jersey who like Trump and, but I don't shit on New Jersey, but Ohio, I'm just really quick to just be like, motherfuckers, like, and, but I realize it's because I love the place so much that I get extra angry.
You hold them to a higher standard.
I say things I don't mean. Yeah. And like someone kind of, a guy that I grew up with put me in my place because, someone was asking me something on Facebook, which is always a great place to get your thoughts out.
Mm-hmm.
And I said something to the effect, basically, that you have the Cleveland area, and then you have, bits of Columbus and Dayton, and then the rest of the state is absolute, I don't know what I said. I said something negative beyond that, and he was like, "Come on, like." He put me in my place, and I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm just really mad. But
so that's really funny you bring this up. So my good friend Ian Jacobs, who did the Brainiac movie with me.
Yes, which is excellent, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you very much.
And as we were discussing, I watched it on Tubi. Chris watched it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But I like to bring up Tubi whenever possible because it's.
Are you a Tubi fan?
I'm a big time Tubi fan because you can see things that won't be anywhere else. Even though I'm not saying the Brainiac documentary because that is elsewhere, but like you can watch.
You mean the hit movie Brainiac?
The hit movie, exactly. The hit movie Brainiac, Transmissions After Zero, is on there. But you can watch there's like a Mentors documentary that looks like someone shot it just to break up the day a little bit. Like it just like call up people. Let's do a documentary really fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Tubi is cool though. I agree. There's some really like esoteric, kind of deep dive films that you wouldn't find it anywhere else, and you can stream them, and it's great. It's great.
Totally, yeah, and it came in really handy when I was in my reggae phase this past summer.
Sure.
They had several. They had The Harder They Come. They had Rockers.
Mm-hmm.
What's this? Another one I watched. I watched it. No, there's more. There's Babylon, which is set in London. Very good. And then there's another one called Shooters, which is when you start to drift off and the quality goes down a bit. But basically, if there was Rastas, reggae, and guns, if there was those 3 things in a movie, there was a few weeks where I was watching every movie I could find, and most of them are on Tubi.
It's a good platform.
It is, but I digress. I don't know. How did we even get into talking so much about? You would think I'm getting paid to talk about Tubi.
Oh, no, this is a good point. So back to shitting on your home state.
Oh yes.
My partner on the film, my good friend Ian, who is not from Ohio. Well, he actually was ironically born in Ohio, but was not raised there. He brought up a very fascinating point while we were in the edit. And that was that, so this is Dayton specific, so I'm even getting more, okay? But people from Dayton, I think, have a tremendous amount of pride in the things that have come from Dayton musically and from an invention perspective. There's I think the most trademarks ever registered are from Dayton, Ohio. The invention of flight. There's a lot of things that have come out of Dayton, and then there's a whole if we're looking at music, we're looking at funk, like Roger and Zapp and the Ohio Players and Lakeside, and and indie rock in the '90s, as you have Guided by Voices and the Breeders and Brainiac and all these kind of places. So for a town of its size, which is tiny, it has a disproportionate amount of sort of creative export. So I think that everyone there has a tremendous amount of pride in that, and you kind of wear that on your sleeve a lot. Subsequently, though, there's a lot to be desired in Dayton. There's a lot of things missing. There's a lot of problems. And so people from there are also really quick to kind of shit on it. But Ian brought this really funny thing to me in the edit where I was bragging about it. And I was saying there's all this music from here. And we have, name me another town that size that has all these great musicians from there, or that invented such monumental things, contributions to humanity and this and that. And he was like, yeah. And then he would say something later about Dayton being cool. And I would go, yeah, dude, it sucks. It totally sucks. Or he'd be like, why don't we move there? It's so cheap to live there. I'm like, you don't want to fucking live there. Are you crazy? And he was like, well, you just got done telling me how exceptional it is. And so and so through the process of releasing the film, and he came here for the first time, and every conversation we would get in at an after party, he would notice that people were yeah, there's all this great stuff from Dayton. It's amazing. And he would be yeah, it's totally cool. I learned so much during this film. And then immediately whoever he was talking to, oh dude, this town sucks.
Well, that's an Ohio thing also, I think, is to be to shit on Ohio.
It's this self-deprecating, yet I don't know. It's a weird juxtaposition of being uber proud and
pride and self-loathing.
Yeah, it's a sadomasochistic weird thing.
I'll say from the outside looking in, Dayton specifically, because every band that has come out of there, it's not just a lot of bands that come out there. It's these really incredible, influential bands like Brainiac and Breeders and stuff. And so from the outside looking in, it's holy shit, Dayton must be fucking cool. There's just so much good shit coming out.
I've had some lovely times in Dayton, I will say, but I had some great ambassadors. Our mutual friend Shelly, of course.
Oh yeah, Shelly's great.
Yeah, and so I was in really good hands. It was just good times all the time when I was in Dayton. And then there's now I'm just saying things I like in Dayton. People are shut up. But I'll do it anyway. What's the place called? It's a White Orchid or White Lotus. I can't remember which, even though.
Oh yeah, the hamburger Vietnamese kind of shop downtown. It's right behind my dad's loft, actually.
Yeah, it's a Thai. It's like a hamburger.
Oh, is she Thai? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's run by this woman, this Thai woman, who is. It's there's Joe's Crab Shack where the shtick is they're rude to you and they're angry or something.
Yes.
This is a woman, a Thai woman who just insults, just as
totally
rude and
she reminds me of it reminds me of a New York place, frankly. It reminds me of a weird place you would go in New York and you get abused, but the food's decent or something, and that's part of the charm.
But I love it. And like sometimes you go in and you watch her abuse people, and you then, having been there a few times, I realized that it's just her shtick.
Yeah.
But she's wearing sunglasses,
Yeah.
and she's from Thailand, and not really smiling. And like someone will be like, "Can I get a straw, please?" And she'll just like throw the straw at them. This like woman in her probably 60 years old. I don't know.
What are the Yelp reviews like?
It's well, we can pull them up.
That's probably a good 5 minutes well spent. Yelp reviews, and I think it used to be a White Castle. Actually, I think it was a White Castle at one point. But I know exactly what you mean, and I've been in there, and I agree. It's well worth,
wherever you are, in the lower 48.
Yeah.
Head on over.
That's right.
Another thing, and I'll go slightly beyond very specific places that I've been in Dayton.
This show is just getting broader and broader.
This show should be called the Alienation Show, because it's we just talk about what we feel like talking about, and
it's Dayton.
But Ohio also, I think, I don't know if other states have this, first of all, let me get this out of the way, and this is not what I was going to say, but Dayton, I had never been to Dayton in my life until I went to shoot the hit movie Boy Band.
Oh, really?
Wow. I'd been everywhere.
How did you not play there or something?
Somehow, I just never did. I played everywhere else in Ohio, but never Dayton. And somehow
Weird.
I was never in Dayton proper until we did that movie. And then I was all over it. But what I was going to say is that in Ohio, you would think that a big thing that people always say to me as a hockey fan, they say, "Oh, well, you must love the Columbus Blue Jackets because they're the team from Ohio." And I'm like, "No, they're my least favorite team because they're the team that Columbus has, and right. I'm from Cleveland originally, so I hate Columbus." Do you agree with this, that in Ohio, all the cities, the starting point is hatred of each other rather than being like, hey, we're all like, or is this just something that is just in my mind entirely?
No, and you know what? I didn't really notice that till I moved to Columbus because, I guess like growing up in Dayton, we sort of like gravitated to everything Cincinnati because we didn't have any sports teams. So like if it was a ball game, I'd go to Cincinnati. If it was whatever, I'd go to Cincinnati. When I moved to Columbus didn't have the Blue Jackets at that time. They didn't have anything. So everyone there went to Cleveland. So everything there was like Indians and Browns or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that was weird to me, how it wasn't more of a camaraderie. That was like, once you get to the middle of the state, it was like a definite cutoff line where, sports teams lines are being drawn. But yeah, I think, I don't know what it is, man, because I think it's an amazing state with a great history, and like so many people are, originated from Ohio, and but yet it has an aspect of it that I think that people feel like they're underdogs or something, or they're from Ohio, like I don't know what it is, or like they feel like they're not like on the main stage or something. I don't know what it is, but when I moved to New York though, I thought it was hilarious because like I would work these jobs and they're like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Ohio," and they're like, "Oh, did you grow up on a farm?"
Oh yeah.
And
people
I was like,
think that.
No, not at all.
And then yeah, people always think
I understood the outside perception really quickly though, from the rest of the country.
And then there's the thing, and as an Ohioan in New York, I don't know if this like I know lots of, and it is weird that we haven't logged many hours together already, but because I'm sure we know 7,000 of the same people from Ohio.
Yeah.
All wonderful people, but when someone tries to when you're in New York and someone tries to, if you're at a party or something, it's like, that guy over there is from Ohio. and he hasn't been grandfathered in where you're like, oh yeah, he's my friend's friend, or whatever. Like, you're just like, well, no, I don't want to meet that guy. I left Ohio. I'm not trying to go meet Ohio people now. I'm here. That's what I find is a thing. Like, unless it's someone like, oh no, this guy's this friend. This might also be a condition also existing entirely in my mind. I don't know. My own hangups. But I do think that is the thing with Ohio, and I'm sure I've talked about this on the program at some point, probably several times. But with Ohio, like the first time I did comedy shows in Scandinavia, I was in Copenhagen, and I did a show, and it was, I felt like I had a good show, good set, and the audience liked it, and I could hear the comedians laughing in the green room because there's like a TV, and I was like, oh cool, like the other comedians liked it. And then I got off stage and they didn't say anything to me, and I was like, that's weird, because like in America you at least go like, hey, good set, of a band, whatever. You just lie and say something.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't see it, you're like, yeah, it's good.
Right.
And but they don't say anything. Like, they don't even acknowledge that you were on stage. And so afterwards, the guy that was taking me around was like, oh, it's a good show. And I was like, yeah, I kind of thought it went well. I was feeling good about it. But then none of the comedians said a word to me. And well, they spoke to me, but they acted like I hadn't been on stage. Like, they acted like I just came from the bathroom or something when I walked off stage. And he's like, oh, that's Denmark for you. And I was like, what do you mean? And he explained like this thing. Chris, have I talked about this 7,000 times? The Law of Junta. No. It's in this book, like, a fugitive covers his tracks, I think is what the book's called. But it's this fictional town called Junta. And there's laws of the town. And the laws are like, you are not better than us. You are not smarter than us. There's nothing special about you. It's all like tall poppy syndrome stuff. And like, so the whole thing is like, you're not supposed to, feel special ever. And the more I read about it, I was like, oh my God, this is being from Ohio. Yeah. Like, I kind of loved it. I was like, I totally get what this is, 'cause that's what Ohio is.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to be like, yeah.
Oh, there was a thing, there was definitely a thing in the music scene, I felt like too, whereas like you couldn't go too far outside the box without getting shit on quite a bit in terms of like your dress or your kind of like the way that you were or your presentation of your band or anything like that. Like, I definitely felt like, there was a bit of that in all the music scenes where it was kind of like, if you were just like trying to be creative or think like, well, okay, everyone's wearing a t-shirt and jeans, like what can we do to make this cool? Or like, what can we just do to stand out? Or like, should we wear like this or this? And if you would like kind of try that, it was immediately just like shot down with a lot of people. That was kind of interesting, and it seemed like a little narrow-minded in that regard, but it was also kind of like this. I also kind of respected it though, because it was a very like blue collar kind of mentality where it's like, take your fucking scarf off and just rock, like quit being like, quit acting like that, we're here to like have a good time and like play loud rock music, like leave the rest of the shit to the side,
Yeah, exactly. And then like if something gets like too, I was thinking, like, I remember 9 Inch Nails when they first started to like do, the first record when they were even though I wasn't born yet. No, but like
the first album came out in like 1989 or something.
It did, like I was negative 7 years old, but I remember.
That is, everyone thinks of them as such like a quintessential 90s band, but they were like,
it was 89, 80s. And I remember when it came out, everyone was like, yeah. Oh, Cleveland's own. Yeah, awesome. And then like at one point they get to a certain point and then everyone's like, fuck you, 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Like they're like, they're our band. Oh no, they're not. Fuck off.
Did you ever see when 9 Inch Nails was on, it wasn't like American Bandstand, it was like something very similar though, is before that album came out and they're doing Down in It, and it's like it's the most 90s set you'll ever see. But it's Trent Reznor with like this weird backing band. It's on YouTube somewhere. I'll put it in the chat. But it's they have like a crowd dancing as if they're like it's like I don't know. It's just like very, very 80s, and it just doesn't fit what you would normally think of a band like Nine Inch Nails.
Well, I wonder what show it was.
Tough to squeeze them into a midnight special kind of format.
Yeah,
I remember I saw Trent Reznor play in a band that opened up for the Starship when the Starship did a free concert in Cleveland. Again, I was not alive at the time, but
you heard tell of it.
I heard tell of a free concert that I attended.
It was the show was called Dance Party USA. That was the name.
Oh
of it.
yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Des, where are you, man?
I'm in West Jersey.
West Jersey. I like the whole vibe that you have.
Well, I'm up in the attic.
It's a strong vibe.
It is a strong vibe. I've been meaning to bring that up. I see all kinds of interesting little things behind
A lot of wood
you.
paneling. A lot of wood paneling out here. So
it's like the wrong bumper sticker away, though, from you being carted off for being at the Capitol riot.
Oh, I know. It's borderline.
Yeah. Where were you there last week? I'm just curious.
No comment. I blend in amongst the people.
What do you got? What's your take on this week, you guys? Like, what do you think's happening? This do you feel like it's much ado about nothing, or do you feel kind of some anxiety around this whole thing?
I was nervous about it until I saw what the latest theory is amongst like the QAnon people, and they're convinced that Biden has been arrested and has switched faces with Trump. So when you see Biden getting sworn in, you're actually watching Trump get sworn in for a second term.
I had heard JFK Jr. Biden was actually JFK Jr.
Oh, right. I read that too.
Wait, this is QAnon stuff?
Yeah. So once I read that, I was like, oh, this is dumb. Like they're not gonna
wait, that was the point where you put your foot down and you're like
no, I just mean like I feel like when those are the mental gymnastics they're playing, I'm not like, I don't know, if they're really convinced that they're switching faces, then I feel like secretly
it's a lot more plausible than some other things. I mean, not to drag Cleveland
they're probably
again, but they did a face transplant at the Cleveland Clinic.
Yep.
Oh wow.
If I can pull it back to Cleveland again. But
we've been off Ohio for all of 30 seconds.
I know, we should bring it back.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know, like, yeah, I don't know what to think. I really hope nothing. I feel I'm going to go out. This is brazen of me to say, but these last few years have taken their toll on me, and I feel like it's taken a toll on other people, and I think these times are really, and I could do with a really boring, uneventful week.
Sure.
Of no violence. I found out my dad is getting the vaccine on Inauguration Day.
How about that?
So
wow.
I was like, oh, this is a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully nothing face transplant or anything will mess that up.
Good.
But how are you? What are you doing during these pandemic times, Eric? We've talked about we've gone down many roads in this conversation. You're probably just like, oh man, what did I get into? But how have you been spending this time back in? Are you able to? Are you doing the Kontiki podcast?
I am. I am a unpaid intern for the New York Department of Education. I homeschool 2 children.
Oh wow!
All day with the virtual guidance of their teachers. But that actually eats up a large percentage of my day and morning and afternoon.
Bet.
So I run in a two-person schoolhouse, which has been immensely frustrating, but also kind of beautiful in some ways. it's just fucking weird. It's just really weird. You know what I mean? It's like, living like this for like coming up on a year now. I remember everything closed down like third week of March last year. So yeah, I mean, I do that. And then the third week of March last year, when everything shut down, I was kind of like, well, you know, I had some things in development that were looking kind of promising that kind of just went away because no one was, you know, financing or, you know, putting anyone on set anywhere. So I decided to give the podcast thing a shot because I thought it might be something to do, you know, from my living room, which was super cool, man. So I've been doing that, which was really fun. And I did like 25 episodes of that last year. And it was basically just, you know, calling up people that I liked or that I'd worked with, musicians or actors or film directors, what have you, and asking them to like pair two films together to give me like a double feature recommendation to watch while we're all kind of in quarantine. So those were really fun conversations and like a really cool exercise to kind of stay busy and stay connected and catch up with people or just, you know, talk movies and kind of, you know, discuss what they're doing. Cause I was talking to people like in Australia and the UK and all over the country. And so it was a nice insight too, is to like, how are you guys handling it there? What's going on? Is, you know, are you, you know, what is your country doing? And so it was interesting. So I've been doing that and schooling my kids and trying to like come up with a couple of more film ideas for when things kind of settle. But that's it. It's been a bizarre and trying, you know, year as it has been for pretty much everyone.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the double feature. Has anyone recommended a movie called Disco Dancer to you as one of the movies?
No.
Well, if I may.
Please.
I think I speak for everyone on screen right now besides yourself. Chris, what happened to the Disco Dancer soundtrack?
I can put it back up. I usually turn it down for the interview. So
we've no, you can turn it back off. But it's we did a watch party for it a few weeks ago. It's a 1982 Bollywood movie.
Oh.
My friend Anuvab Paul, who's a Mumbai-based comedian, because during this time I've been watching, didn't come up with it. Been watching a lot of movies during this past year.
That's why I did the podcast. It was like, what are people doing? We're watching things.
And so I would you know, as I mentioned, I would have like, now I'm watching as many Jamaican movies as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was like, well, I'm going to watch Indian movies now. So I emailed my friend Anuvab and I said, what movies should I watch?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, there's only one movie you should watch. It's called Disco Dancer. And he was not wrong. It's anyway, it's on Netflix. You can watch it.
Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime as well.
And this is a Bollywood 1980, early 80s.
1982.
Okay.
The plot points seem like they were written by a fifth grader rushing from one class to another.
A lot, but you know what though? Like the Bollywood screenwriting can be like that, but like not in a like I'm not saying that in a disparaging way, like in a kind of amazing way.
Yeah, in a way like anything can happen.
Right. It's a free for all. It's a fever dream.
Yeah. So,
do you like Anurag Kashyap?
Oh,
I don't know who that is.
I don't think I do.
Okay. I got to produce a film. He's Mumbai based as well. I got to produce it was one of the short films in the Madly anthology that I produced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's really good. And the short film, well, we won Best Actress at Tribeca when we premiered it that year for the performance by Radhika Apte, who is the lead in his short film. Which I was stunned because she won Best Actress appearing like in an anthology film with like 6 other films. So like she didn't have a copious amount of screen time. But I thought there was a really powerful performance and piece, and I really like his other work as well. Yeah, you should, if you're going down the rabbit hole of Indian films, I think he's a really good director.
Okay, I'll seek that out. That would be Disco Dancer. Just put that in your.
I already have it. I have it marked.
And then Chris, I don't know. Would you say Greasy Strangler as the other movie?
I haven't seen the Greasy Strangler yet, but
wait, you haven't seen the Greasy Strangler yet?
No, based on your recommendations, though.
Oh, I thought you'd what? Eric, have you seen Greasy Strangler?
I have not. What is that?
Okay, that's
I just like it by title with the other one, though. I'm already sold.
Yeah. I might recommend Greasy Strangler first, and then chase it away with Disco Dancer. That might be the way to go.
Okay.
That might be the move. Yeah.
What is Greasy Strangler?
It's who's the director? Jim Hosking, or I think that's his name. I believe he's English. But it's
Jim Hosking.
It's a father and son who give fake disco tours of their town where things happen. But
I see the connectivity here already.
Yeah. There's a disco theme in this movie as well. But it's very strong. Highly recommended.
What era are we talking about here?
That movie came out just
about 5 years ago.
5 years ago, maybe?
Oh, okay.
But it was one of those movies, some friends kept recommending it, and I resisted, and then I stopped resisting. And I gave in, and I was glad I did.
Good night that was.
I've watched it many times.
On Tubi?
It is not on Tubi. Where is it? It's on Amazon Prime, I think.
Okay.
It's on IMDb TV, which is like
oh yeah, I know that.
Like an ad version of.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's on Prime Video as well.
Is it? Yeah.
I think so.
I actually own it. I bought it because I wanted to be able to watch it. I guess I could still just watch it whenever. But anyway, before I understood how streaming works, I bought
it. That's why I sent you the DVD.
Yeah, I know this couldn't. If you could next send me a VHS of this,
I will. That's my next move.
And oh man,
I don't even think I have a way to play DVDs anymore.
It's gotten to that. I've definitely heard that from many people.
None of my computers have disk drives in them.
Although I have to say the fans of 90s indie rock, the DVD was appreciated.
Oh yeah,
because we were like, should we press these? Or like, what should? And there was like, everyone's like, yeah, for sure.
Oh, my
There's
Xbox.
A lot of 50-year-old dudes that want the DVD.
I could watch it on my Xbox. I've never used it for that.
I think that might only be Blu-ray at this point.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That might be true.
The Brainiac DVD. If you watch it on, we should touch on. I guess since I've seen it, I've selfishly not delved. We haven't delved in, but Brainiac, of course, I was a fan of the band. I actually saw Brainiac play at the Troubadour in LA with Girls Against Boys.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who else. And it was this would have been kind of like, the right sort of as they were, in this big moment in their career. I remember Rick Rubin was at the show in a shiny silver down jacket.
Yep.
And I thought, it doesn't get better than Rick Rubin at your show in a shiny silver down jacket and sunglasses, even though we're inside.
Yeah, we had a good animated sequence actually for a Rick Rubin story that we had to cut out of the final film. But there was some good stories about being, we were talking about that whole culture of being like courted by like all these major labels that doesn't really happen anymore. I found fascinating like 20 years after the fact. And so like, I was asking for all these stories about like, what was happening when you guys were being courted by all these people. And there was just a ton of like really funny stories. And one of them was like, Rick had us over and made us lunch, and there was like he took them through his mansion, and there was stuffed polar bears and what have you. But
as you would hope.
Yeah, of course, as one has. But I talked to Dino Paredes, who's in the film, actually.
He's a buddy of mine.
Oh, there we go. One more person.
He was the A&R guy for my band, Sons of Elvis.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he's
Priority
a really nice
Writers. Oh yeah, he
has a lot of taxidermy as well.
Well, his house is basically like Rick Rubin's house, I think.
Yeah.
Not that I've been to Rick Rubin's house, but I have been to Dino's house, and it does.
He has a striking amount of taxidermy in his house.
He does. He has yes.
But really good dude, and
totally great.
Yeah, he was saying like he and Rick used to drive around in Rick's Rolls Royce, all night long, listening to Brainiac tapes and stuff, and talking about them and how cool they were and how they could potentially get them on American and stuff like that. So, it's just a whole different era, that again, 20 years after the fact is kind of interesting to go re-explore, because it just doesn't, that kind of music industry culture doesn't really exist anymore.
No. And even I'm finding, and maybe it's my problem with my friends, but I even find that just people with really good expense accounts in general, that's going away. There was a time in my life where I feel like I pretty much lived off friends having jobs.
Yeah.
With expense accounts.
I used to have a job like that, and I now I teach school to kindergartners.
Yeah, that's the job
for
you
no
want.
Pay.
Yeah, you got to get that has its perks too, I'm sure. But yeah, the job where you're like, I don't ever have to pay for anything because my friend has this job.
Yeah, I used to treat friends all the time to dinners, and it just doesn't happen anymore. It's gone.
I know now I do the treating. I say not often, as Chris and Doug's can attest. When I say not often, I mean never. But on the rare occasion when I do get the tab, I will just say, well, I'm considering you for my secretary position, and this you have passed the test with flying colors. And then I pay for the coffee or whatever. Tax write-off. Tax write-off.
And then you remind them that you did it for weeks.
Yeah. just so you know. But yeah, it was a different time. I never I never got wined and dined at the level that I really will die thinking I should have been.
Yeah.
In the 90s. But wait, so why couldn't you include the animation, the Rick Rubin animation that I'm dying to see now?
Just time. I mean, there's so many things that just, I think the movie's a pretty healthy runtime as it is, frankly.
Yeah.
And, it was just like, do we absolutely need this thing? It's like, it's hilarious to us sitting here watching it, but it's like, what is this adding to the narrative of the film? How much real estate is this taking up? Is it worth it? There's just so many things. We threw a couple things on the DVD. That was kind of the reason for it too. Is like, some deleted scenes or some animations that didn't make the film or what have you. But it's a funny kind of throwaway anecdote, but it wasn't really essential to adding 2 more minutes to the movie.
You could have gone the Eagles documentary route and made it 7 hours long.
True. I think quite frankly, a feature film on Brainiac was ambitious enough without making it a mini series. Although, I mean, I did make the argument in the edit that there are 1,000 people that would watch the 4-hour Brainiac documentary.
I'm in. 1,001.
Fantastic.
Count me in. Well, we only have a couple minutes here. Where does the time go? Was it my Thai restaurant story that ate up a lot of time?
Yeah, I would have cut that out and edit.
Yeah, that the Thai restaurant story, that was the Rick Rubin animation of this show, arguably. Could be argued.
Yeah.
Well, he's been waiting some time here now. Should we? Well, I don't think we can do this. We don't have time. Should we get a bass solo out of Elvira? Let's go out on a puzzling note.
I like that.
Might be the slot for him.
Okay, Elvira, you have 30 seconds to lay down a bass ukulele solo, and then we gotta boot you. Where is he? Is he coming? There he is. Elvira Canaveral.
Hey. Yippee-ki-yay. I just wanted to thank you folks. I took an opportunity to connect to a friend I hadn't talked to in a while, and I invite other people to use this as an opportunity to do so. I reached out to my old friend Kevin Kling, Kling. He's a local storyteller who's a regular on Prairie Elm Companion and the such. But it was nice to just talk to him. We ended up talking for an hour and 40 minutes, and we're going to be doing some work together in the next couple of weeks. Safely, of course. But the other nice thing is I've discovered that it's been 10 months since I've worked as a henchman or as a stagehand for someone else.
Well, I was kind of thought we were going to get a bass ukulele solo, but that's all great. We're out of we got to go now. You blew it. Thank you, Elvira. We'll see you next week.
Love is a battlefield.
Oh, we lost him.
Who's that guy?
We don't have enough time to explain.
Okay.
He's one of our viewers / listeners in Minneapolis. I actually met him. He was a stagehand when I met him. I was doing live from here in Minneapolis, and he was a stagehand, and the rest is history. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you, Eric Mahoney. I feel like we've only scratched the surface. Would you be willing to come back on this program, or have you sworn it off aggressively?
I'm absolutely game. I had a blast. Thank you for having me on. I
do a Brainiac watch party on.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
we should do a Brainiac.
Let's do it.
I apologize. We grabbed you a few minutes late, I think, because at first we've had some problems. Would be an aggressive word. With the Zoom bombers that we've had, but since your name in the Zoom is not your name, we thought you may have been an elusive Zoom bomber. So at first we were like, "Is this him? I think it's him."
Security issue.
Yeah, it was a security issue. You got caught up in security on the way in, so we lost a few minutes up top.
Understood.
But,
understood.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Go watch Brainiac Transmissions after. I don't know. This is one of those things. I have the DVD here, and because even though I know the title, I don't need to look at the DVD cover. I just look at it every time I say the title, because I'm like, it's there. I should read it directly from the cover.
Sure.
Everyone go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime, Tubi, or you can get it in the futuristic DVD format.
That's right.
Thank you, Boy Criminal Chris Gersbeck.
Thank you.
Thank you, New Jersey Chicken Rancher Dez.
You got it.
And thanks to everybody. And if you want to support the show, go to MaximumFun.org/join, and we'll see you next week. And I'll be in New York next week when we broadcast.
How about that?
Safe travels, buddy.
Thank you. What is that?